Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. So it is April 2018 and it is time for another budget video. So if you've been following me for any length of time, you know that I do the Dave Ramsey zero-based budget every single month. And if you haven't, welcome to our channel. My name is Shakema. I am a single mom. I work full-time. I also homeschool full-time. And this is my journey to debt freedom. I use the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University zero-based budgeting program, and I've used that program for about the last 6 years. So let me just tell you a little bit about the debt that I carry. Currently, my debt is about $8,000, and it's $8,000, I think $76 and some change. I don't know exactly the odd change. And that is all the result of a student loan that I got when I was in college. So I currently have no car payment debt. I have nothing else other than the mortgage on my home as far as debt is concerned. Now, it's April of 2018, and I remember starting off 2017 saying I wanted to be out of debt with that student loan. And I look at other people and their journeys, and they say, I pay off $19,000 worth of debt, or I've been able to pay off $100,000 worth of debt in this short period of time. And I'm looking at my debt saying, but I still have $8,000 from last year. So I have determined in my mind that this year I'm going to put every available dollar as best as I can towards my debt of $8,000. Whether I pay off $8,000 or not, I still would like that number to decrease. I don't want in January of 2017 to say I still owe $8,000. So my goal this year is to decrease that number to well below the $8,000 using the Dave Ramsey zero-based budget. So if you're new to Dave Ramsey says that you need to give your money a job. Every dollar has a job. And so he uses the zero-based budget, which means you account for every single dollar in your budget somewhere using specific categories. Now, I was so on track to make an extra payment. I actually made one extra payment in March on my student loan, and I was on track to make a second extra payment until the dreaded happened. And what would be the dreaded? Jackson blew up my microwave, my over-the-stove microwave. We've lived in our house for 2 years, and we have zero clue as to what he did, what he touched, we don't know. All we know is the microwave exploded and just was no longer available to work. So I actually ended up having to replace the microwave. I was going to leave it and just make do without it, but there was such a smell of electricalness, that's not a word, but I'm going to use that because it's the best to explain it, in the house, that I totally had to get it out of the house. So I had to replace the microwave to the tune of $225, $30 some odd dollars. Plus I had to have Handy Mandy come over and uninstall the old one, reinstall the new one, and then take the old one away. But I'd already had Handy Mandy come in at the beginning of the month to do some handiwork for me, so I ended up having to pay her a second time to come in and work. So the thing that's really great about Dave Ramsey's system is you have your emergency fund. And I was so happy that I had my emergency fund, but I actually didn't have to use my emergency fund. And the reason being is because I had a check come in from my from a claim I had on a procedure that I had last year. And I just waited so long to make the claim. And finally, I made the claim, of course, not knowing that the microwave was going to blow up. So I owed on my bill like $700 on an MRI I had on my knee. I had some knee trouble last year, so I went in for an MRI, ended up having to pay it was a significant amount, and so I owed about $700 left. So my plan was, when I got the money, that I was going to take that money and I was going to pay it towards my MRI, because I was already on a payment plan, so I was making payments towards it anyway. So I wanted to do a big chunk. Well, the microwave blew up, so that took away all of that. And yes, that money was allocated for that specifically, but I had a greater need, and then I could always pull money out of my emergency fund if I needed to. Well, long story short, and I'm going to get into the April budget, but I wanted to add this in. So I went ahead and paid that. I still had some money left on my benefits card, and I was going to make a $100 payment over to the MRI. So I call up my medical office, the billing office, and I say to the lady, I want to make a payment. So she asked me for my information. I give her my information, and she pulls up my bill. Now, I know that the bill is $700. I know it is. Trust me when I say I know, because the last bill they sent was, and we've talked about this on the channel before. So I said, yes, ma'am, I want to make a payment. And I felt really bad because I had that $400. I was just going to make that big chunk of a payment, and I was just going to owe a little bit. And then I was going to chunk the next little bit when I got my supplement this month in April. And the lady said, yes, ma'am, you owe $28.63. This is my entire face, the whole thing. Now, she can't see any of this. I'm like, I know I owed $700, but my account said $28.63. I don't know where the money went. I don't know where the bill went. I don't know if they wrote it off. I don't know what they did. All I'm telling you is that the Lord looked out for me, and he did something. That bill is not there, and I know it was there. And I called the place I call every time I make a payment, and I just had to sit in my chair and just think, God, you are so good to me. And when I think about that, it just makes me get very weepy, because just prior to me calling to make that payment, I was out of town at my dad's the weekend before, and it was his anniversary service. So I always give, but I had not set aside money to give because I wasn't thinking anniversary time when I did my budget at the beginning of the month. But I gave sacrificially every night that I was there. And while I was there, the Lord dropped in my spirit about a friend of mine, and he said, sow a seed into her life. And it was a significant seed. It was a sacrifice for me to be able to do that. But I didn't question the Lord. I said, yes, Lord, when I get home on Monday, I write a check, put it in the mail. And I did that. I came home on Monday, wrote that check, put it in the mail. I think I called the doctor's office on Wednesday because I was going to make that $100 payment because I still had money on my benefits card to pay that. And the lady said, you owe $28.63. I said, praise God, let's make a payment and move forward. So that is just the benefits of serving the Lord. I know people think, why do you tithe? And this is why I tithe. I tithe not because I'm expecting the Lord to wipe my debt out. It's my debt, and I know I need to pay it. But I'm telling you that things like this happen. I've been mentioning how the child support has not been exactly right. And so I mentioned it to my ex-husband, and at first he was a little bit upset with me about it. And I said, well, I just don't want at the end of the day for it to be anything negatively reflecting on you, because I didn't want the state to say, well, you're not paying your amount, and so there's a negative repercussion for him. So I didn't bother with it anymore. I haven't worried about it anymore. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So he called me the other day, and he said, I just want to let you know that I've talked to the lady at my job, and they're going to be contacting North Carolina because it would appear that something is not quite right. And I was like, praise the Lord that I didn't have to fight with him over it. You know, people have asked me before, do you get alimony? No, I do not get alimony. I didn't ask for alimony. I didn't ask for anything. Even up until 4 years after we were divorced, did I ask for child support. And it was simply because we needed the help. I was just getting ready to start homeschooling the kids, and we needed equipment. We needed different things. And I just needed the help. Jackson has asthma really bad, and he was really sick, and we were continually in the hospital with him and different things, and I just couldn't do everything, and I needed some help, and that was the only reason why I did that. So I say all that to say, because I'm faithful with my tithe, I believe that the Lord is faithful with every promise he's ever made me. And this is why I do believe that in 2018, I will be able to say that my debt is less than $8,000, because that's all I owe. My car is paid for. It's old. The clear coat is coming off. I don't really care. it's paid for and I don't have to worry about it. So I'm thankful. So with all of that being said, let's jump into the budget. I'm going to just share with you the budget sheet that I use, and then I'm going to turn you around and face my computer and let you see the numbers for yourself. So this is the budget sheet that I found, and if I can find the link to it, I will link it for you again. So this is a sheet I just Googled in monthly budget sheet, and I pulled up a couple, and then finally this one pulled up, and what it is it's a monthly spreadsheet that has all the categories, and I was able to change all the categories on this first page to match up to my old budget sheet that I've used faithfully for the last 6 years. But the difference in this budget sheet than mine was at the bottom there were sheets or tabs for each week of the month, and then it was broken down by days, and then I could type in on the day how much I paid, and then it calculates for me for the week, but then it auto populates back to this sheet right here. So what I normally do is I'll go in and fill in my my budgeted column. Then I'll go to the weekly column that looks kind of like this, and then I can put in what day I made a payment of something or how much money I spent, and then it calculates back for me here. So that's the reason why I switched sheets, and I really do like this sheet because it just allows me to track my spending weekly. And so what I have to remember is that I have to go back in and track weekly. So let me take you to a view of my computer so you can actually see the numbers. Okay, so here's the budget sheet and the numbers. These are actual numbers. It takes too much of my brain power to try to think of pretend numbers or round out the numbers. I just don't have time for that. So on this spreadsheet, anything that is in a clear cell you can change. Anything that's in a colored cell, they have locked. So of course this is not my budget sheet, so if I can find the link again, I'll link it for you in the description box below. So I just put in that this is for the month of April. This is my personal budget worksheet, and I did change some of these categories. They had some other stuff and I just changed them. So my payroll deposit, kids deposit, YouTube, travel reimbursement, unexpected gifts or money or blessings. So for me, I actually put in my actual, which is $2,865.47. That's what my payroll deposit was. As of this point, April 1st, 2018, I have 0 other monetary categories. I don't have any kids deposits, although Dad said he did pay $70 that should be coming at some point. So prayerfully it comes. I'm not sure when. I have not received YouTube payments in the last couple months. That is how it is. I'm not planning any trips, so no travel reimbursements. And then I don't have any unexpected gifts, monies, or blessings yet. But if the Lord say yes, I'm accepting it and receive it in Jesus' name whenever it comes. So praise the Lord. So once I put in any money categories here, then it calculates for me here. So I went ahead and put in all of my living expenses because this is broken down according to expenses. So I have income, then I have expenses. So for the month of April, my mortgage is $909.95. My electric was $94.12, and I went ahead and wrote down on my budget sheet this time that was $19.77 less than it was last month because I'm trying to see if I'm increasing or decreasing. So that was a decrease. My water and sewer was $55.90 or $9.34 more this month than it was last month. I still kind of have a little bit of trouble with a leaky toilet. That kind of runs sometimes, so I think that's what's running the bill up. My telephone and insurance. So this category right now is a little bit different than normal. It is $225.83, which is $110.84 more than what I paid last month. And the reason is my car insurance, our car insurance, my older son shares car insurance with me just by the nature of his job. I may have to transact business for him. Whereas I don't have to do that for my older daughter. So for me, it's easier to just have him on some things because if I have to transact business for him, if he's unavailable, then I can do that. So our insurance comes due in April, and then it comes due again in October. And we pay 6 months at a time. When I added him to my insurance, I told him I pay my insurance every 6 months, not monthly. That's just how I do it because it came around supplement time for me. So he pays it every 6 months. So my part, because I have an older car, he has a much newer car than I do. My car, the part is about $276 for 6 months. So he pays, because it won't let us split credit cards. One or the other has to pay for it or switch, payment cards. So he pays the full amount every 6 months, and I pick up his cell phone bill for 2 months or 3 months, just depending on how much my portion is. This time it's $276. So I will pay his April cell phone bill, his May cell phone bill. I may pick up June, just depends on how I'm feeling or if he don't care about paying it. So I try to pick up my portion of that amount instead of just giving him cash back. I just pick up his cell phone because we share two things, the car insurance and the cell phone. And again, that's only because due to his job, I may have to transact business for him, and that's just easier for me to do it that way. So that's why that is so much more than what I'm normally used to paying. So my internet, I do not have cable. We do have internet. It's $69.99, and that was $6.01 less than I paid last month. Now, it's the month of April, so it's time to start going back to lawn care because I have a little fella that comes over and cuts my grass twice a month. And I was using my lawn care money during the winter months for my handy mandy. I was trying to think what to do with that $60, and I needed household things done. So I switched here and started paying it for her. But because she's not going to be coming, because he'll be doing the lawn, so $60 for that. My student loan, my normal payment is $156.10. Amazon Prime is $13.12. PureFlix, which is like Netflix, but it's more Christian based, $7.99. Healthways, which is my gym, is $25. Taekwondo for 3 of us, for 2 kids and 1 mom, and we go 4 to 5 days a week for hours at a time. It's not just you take a 45-minute class one day and you're done. We can go up to 5 days a week, and the kids can take up to 3 classes per day, which they're 45-minute classes per day. It's $325 for all 3 of us. My seminary is $50. And what I did this time was I actually put beside each category how I paid it. So Taekwondo, I used PayPal. CCRDU, I did PayPal. And now, y'all, hey, I'm excited, right? So for the first time ever, I am having sinking funds. And I got 2 sinking funds. I know it's small, but celebrate with me. So I'm starting with 2 sinking funds. The first one being my P.O. Box. That's going to come due again in August, and it's $32. And then for Gracie, for her yearly shots. She just had yearly shots. She had her shots done. She got medication, and she got her toenails clipped for $138. So I'm counting about $10 a month because the toenails were extra and her meds were extra. So she didn't have to get any of that just for her shots. And her rabies is 3 years, so she won't even have to have that done again for 3 years. And her I think her rabies and one more other thing were 3 years. So we're good for the next 3 years. But still, she has to have flea meds, and she has to have her heartworm every 6 months. So I'm going to set aside $10 a month for Gracie. So for those 2 categories are my very first sinking funds. And I was excited about that. Now, groceries is significantly less than what I had been doing. $154.81. And the reason that I put in $154.81 because after I paid all the bills, that was what was left. So my goal is $300 a month. And if I get kids money, then I plan to pull grocery money out of here. Because I pay their Taekwondo ahead. So normally I just kind of reverse the funds. I go ahead and pay Taekwondo. And if kids money comes in, then I can use that money that is Taekwondo money in other categories. So right now I have $154.81 in my grocery budget, and that's good. I coupon quite heavily. Our pantry is full. Our garage pantry is decent. Our in-house freezer and our garage freezer are pretty decent. So I'm not worried about this amount right here. For Weight Watchers, that's an automatic draft, so that comes out of my checking account for $20. The next thing I did, I went down to Gracie just for her dog food. With the warmer months coming, we can actually give her a bath outside in the yard. And so I really just need to account for her food. So I just put $20 for her food, which is a cash category, and then $19 for CVS and Walgreens, and that's for the month to coupon. So I have some CVS ECBs that I'm going to be rolling into transactions. So prayerfully, I've divided this by 4 weeks, so it's about $4.75 that I can invest into couponing at CVS or Walgreens. And I don't have to do that. I don't have to coupon, but if I want to, this is the money I'm going to use. Now, for my transportation, which is another category, for my gas, I use my debit card for that, and I only put $78 in here. I put $26 a week in my car, and the reason I only put $78 in is because next week is spring break, so we don't have anywhere to go. But a relative of mine, gifted me with $25 a gift card, a Shell gift card for gas, but we don't have Shell in our town, so I'm saving that until I go into the next town over, and then I can use that for gas for at least 1 week. So that should only be 3 weeks worth of gas here that I'll have to pull out of my budget funds. And then I do have to have my oil changed, which this is a category I did not have in last month, for $40. So I'm counting that in for this month. The last category, which I really wish they would let me put it first, but they won't, is my miscellaneous. And I don't think that my tithe is miscellaneous, but this is how the sheet is set up. So my church tithe and offering is $490, which is 1/10 of my gross income. And then we partner with a ministry, and I have to do that for $30. If you can see here, I have no emergency fund money, no gift money, and no blow money. And all of this equals $2,865.47. So that is the monthly budget at a glance. It's how I plan to spend that payroll deposit of $2,865.47, barring nothing goes wrong, no unexpecteds, anything like that. Now, this has 5 weeks. It breaks it down into 5 weeks. And so I'm not exactly following the week specific, because since April 1st starts on a Sunday, actually that becomes week 1. But I get paid the last working day of the month, which is, for me, was March 30th. And I pay my bills the day I get paid. I don't wait until April the 1st or June the 1st. I pay my bills the day my paycheck hits my bank. So I'm having to count week 1 as whatever that pay week is. And for me, that was March 31st, which was Friday here. So I went ahead and paid Taekwondo, my CCRDU, which is my seminary, that comes out automatically. I don't even get a chance to pay it. It just comes out. And then my Taekwondo, I did pay that via PayPal. I went to the grocery store to do some groceries. And so on Friday, I did $20.73. I did use coupons. And then on today, which is Saturday for me, so you'll see this after I've already done it, I did $31.65 for a total of $53.38 for this week for groceries. Now, I did not have any money set aside for clothing or Goodwill, and that's because I purposefully didn't plan to Goodwill. However, Alana needed some pants, and so instead of me going and buying $15, $20 pants, we went to Goodwill, and I was able to find her 4 pairs of pants and 1 skirt, and I got 3 pairs of shoes for $32.58. So I have to make up for that money. Well, if I have to, I'm going to pull out the dog food money and the Walgreens money to account for the $32. Or I can pull it from my gas budget, which is at the end of the month, which is one of my weeks for the end of the month. And then I'll make it up if kids' money comes in. So once kids' money comes in, I will be able to recoup this money. But for right now, I haven't had my oil changed yet. So if I wanted to say that the $40 for oil change was sucked up here because I still have a few, I have a little bit of time before I have to get the oil change, and I'm not going anywhere this week. So I'm going to be pretty okay. So that's how I'm making allowance for that. I didn't just go to Goodwill. I didn't buy any household items. I didn't buy anything I wanted specifically. She needed the pants. And so we took away, 5 or 6 pair of pants that we couldn't, probably about 5 or 6 pair of pants that she couldn't fit anymore, and I needed to replace those because she just has to have them. So that's where I spent money that I didn't allocate for, but I'm making it okay by saying if I needed to take away the oil change money, I actually still have a couple weeks before I really need to get the oil change, and I can just wait until some other monies come through. And I get my supplement at the end of April, so I'm going to be pretty good because I'll be able to have a little bit ahead for some bills. And the last thing that I paid was my tithe and offering, which is $4.90. I try to do that before I pay any other bills. I went ahead and paid that bill out of my banking account via PayPal. So for this total week, I have paid $2,055.69. Let me see. I think I forgot to put my mortgage up here because I paid my mortgage. Oh, yeah, there it is. So I paid my mortgage. I paid my electric. I paid my water bill. I paid the internet. And I actually pulled out $40 for the lawn guy, but I only paid him $30. But I pulled out money, $40, because you can only get, $20 out of in $20 increments out of the ATM. So back to the personal budget. Let me make sure I told you everything. I actually think that my Amazon Prime has come out. I need to go back and check that to make sure that I put in for Amazon Prime. I think that came out yesterday. And so I think everything else is square, but I'm going to go back and check my bank statement to make sure that everything else was square. So let me take you back to the personal budget sheet, which is where we are here. And then let me show you something on this sheet right here. Okay, so here's my sheet, and I like to print it out. But the bank was closed. So I do have several cash categories, and the bank was closed for Good Friday. So I did not have a chance to get to the bank. But what I always do is I will write out my categories for cash. And I have my lawn care, my P.O. box, Gracie, for her shots, my groceries, then her bath. Oh, that should say food, not her bath. And then for Walgreens. And then I always break it down into my denominations of how much of each denomination I'm going to need. So my total cash withdrawal this week was going to be $274.47. Well, I didn't get a chance to go to the bank because it was closed. So I have already spent $52 and some change on groceries, so I will have to allocate for that. And I pulled out $40 for the lawn care, which I already paid him $30 because he came over and cut the grass yesterday. So I have $10 to go into the envelope, and I'll just have to pull out another $20 for him for the next 2 weeks. So pretty much I take this with me to the bank, and then I just fill out my sheet, and I ask for those specific denominations, and then I stuff my cash envelopes. So you will not get to see me stuff cash envelopes this month because I didn't get to the bank yet. I am going to go to the bank on Monday and get all of the envelopes that I need for all the cash I need for my envelopes. So anyway, that is my April budget. If you have questions about this budget, please leave us a comment below. I do not claim to have cornered the market on the zero-based budget, but I will tell you I am faithful to it. I do have my budget committee meeting of 1 every month. I actually meet with myself several times to make sure that I didn't miss anything. And to make sure all my bases are covered. My goal this year is to be below $8,000 on that student loan. And so that is the goal. I'm actually going to be calling about student loan forgiveness because I am a teacher to see if my loan company does teacher loan forgiveness. So I'm going to be calling. I filled out some paperwork, and they just said you have to call your bank to check. Your loan company to check. So I'm going to do that to see if they will forgive. And I think forgiveness for my type of loan is up to $5,000. And that would be huge. So anyway, again, that is our budget for the month of April. If you have questions, leave us a comment below. I will try to link this sheet in the description box. If you have any suggestions or anything, please leave us a comment as well. So if you like this video, be sure and give us a thumbs up. It just says, hey, we liked your video. If you're new around here, hit the red subscribe button. We love to keep you as a part of our YouTube community. Also hit the little bell. That way you never miss an upload from us. Thank you so much for stopping by our channel and budgeting with us. And until we budget next time, bye now.